Welcome back to Module 7. This is part 2 of the module. In the previous module, part 1, I showed you how to take your classroom spreadsheet and to filter by period so that you could extract the data and begin to make tabs along the bottom to reflect each period that you teach. So again, let's pretend like I'm Jenny Watts. This first tab down here, this is all of the students in which she instructs. So all, 150 of them in one big old table. Again, not user-friendly, not very easy to interpret and analyze. So in part 1, we showed you how to go through and pull out just period 1, period 2, period 3, 4, 6, and 7. Now, I went ahead and did Jenny's data for her just because I wanted to show you what it would look like. I also think it's helpful to kind of color code each of these tabs. It's just easier in my brain to see it color coded. You don't have to do that, but let me show you how in case you want to. You just right click down here, change color, and you can just pick any old color you want. And it'll just change it down below. Now let me show you why I like to do that. Let me turn it back to red. Okay. This second part of Module 7 is showing you the next layer or the next step of what you can do with your PLP data. So you already have period 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, however many you teach. But then let me show you what else is a possibility. Let me scooch this up here. Or maybe not. There we go. Scooch it up here. I took Jenny's first period, so just period 1. And I came down here, and you see how they're in red? This is why I color code them. Period 1 is red. Period 1 down here is red. I made some additional tables with Jenny's data. For example, I made a table that just shows the interests of the students in her first period class. So let me show you how I did that. Column G right here is question 1.1 on the PLP form, and it asks the students to indicate what they're interested in. The outdoors, singing, writing, being with friends, music, animals, whatever. Well, this data set right here in column G is set up in such a way that we can take that data, aggregate it, filter it, organize it into something called a pivot table. And a pivot table looks like this. I've got the interest that the students were able to choose. And then right beside it, I've got all the students who selected that. So I can see in Mrs. Watt's first period class, I've got, maybe 10 kids who really are interested in drawing. I've got a handful of kids, quite a few actually, who really enjoy the outdoors. Quite a few kids who really like to listen to music. My gosh, that's a lot actually. Not very many kids who play instruments. Athletics, video games, reading, spending time with family, spending time with friends. Wow, lots of kids who like to spend time with friends. They're social beings. So it's, TV watchers too. So it's organized in such a way that you can start to really get a glimpse of just your one period of students and the things that they're interested in. Now let's begin to think about how that might be powerful for you. It could help you connect with students, classroom rapport, culture, building community. Knowing these things about your kids could also help you design instruction that's relevant to them, that's meaningful to them, that taps into the things that they're interested in. If you have some engagement issues in your classroom, this might be a way to kind of begin to think, my kids are struggling to engage with my content. How can I meet them where they're at and design lessons that align to the things that they're interested in? Let me go back to this, period 1 table. Over here, 1.2, talent. What do your learners perceive themselves to be talented in? Are they talented writers? Are they talented problem solvers? Are they talented in critical thinking, being a good friend? What are their talents? Well, you can make a pivot table for that too, okay? Caring for animals, drawing, painting, helping others, listening, organizing, performing. Gosh, this speaks to me. If you've got kids who perceive that they're talented and performing, it might be worthwhile to think about opportunities for kids to demonstrate their learning in a way that taps into their talents. Could students find a way to perform to show demonstration of learning? Could students write about it as a demonstration of learning? These are all kind of windows into the soul of a child, so you can start to really design instruction that's relevant and meaningful for your learners based on their feedback from the PLP. Here's another data set for you. Over here in section 2, this is where we start to talk about learner inventories and habits of mind. 2.1, the students took a learning inventory. They asked them to identify their learning styles. Were they auditory learners? Were they kinesthetic learners? How do they learn and engage with new learning? I can take this data set and make a pivot table. Oh, and it's not there for some reason. I'll fix that. But you should be able to see very quickly, I've got these 7 kids who are visual learners. I've got these 8 kids who are auditory learners. I don't have very many kids in my class, for example, who are tactile learners. I want to make sure that I'm designing instruction that meets the needs of my learners. And that is a way by which you can do that. Now, for the purposes of this training module, I'm not going to teach you how to make a pivot table. It's not hard to do. It's absolutely not hard to do. But it's a little time consuming. And when I say a little time consuming, I mean 5 or 10 minutes. It's not going to take you hours. But it's absolutely something that's right-minded, and it's absolutely something that I encourage you to do. If you don't know how to make a pivot table, Heather Mack, I'm happy to come to your building and show you. Kim Wilson, your instructional coach, she's volunteered to sit down and help you as well. If these pivot tables are relevant information for you and it really is something that you think could drive teaching and learning and engagement for your learners, please reach out to Kim or I. We are happy to help you make these pivot tables if that's something that you feel would be impactful for you as a teacher. So the purpose of this second part was just to show you the next step of what you could do with your data. We're not asking you to do that right now, but we're asking you to think about it, and we're asking you to reach out to us if you'd like to do that with your data. We think it's powerful. We think it will really drive teaching and learning and engagement in your classrooms. And so we hope that you connect with us and let us support you in that endeavor.